digital platform for PCV and security engagement, both offline and online. And welcome for today's show. It's an inaugural show where we amplify local voices. And for the Pwani, Kilifi County, we have Professor Makimako, who has done a lot of research and publication on issues to do with PCV. We also have the Deputy Governor of Kilifi County. In attendance, we also have His Excellency, the Ambassador of the Kingdom of Restaurant, and the Vice Chancellor of Pwani University, and of course, Head of Provincial Resilience Commissioner Njenga Miri, and the County Commissioner, Kilifi County. Welcome aboard the Radar Show. The Radar Show is being managed by Radar Corps. The Radar Corps are volunteers trained in the university, technology, communication. They are assembled this technology, and all these equipments are brought by the funding from the Netherlands government. So as we start the show, my name is Eli Opondo, the co-host for Radar Show, with my colleague.
Yes, good morning everyone. I'm Ismail Moalim. I'm the Regional Security Coordinator at the Netherlands Embassy, and this is one of the activities we support.
Thank you, my co-host. So we want to go directly to our discussion. And the first question goes to the Ambassador. Thank you for the investment. Netherlands government is investing in Kenya, especially in peace and security. So my question would be, could you explain to the public what the levels of investment in peace and security and how it also relates with the regional stability? Like Kenya is not an island, we have Somalia, we have Congo, we have several countries which support the stability around the country.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here and to see all the activities and to have this interaction so that we can explain why we're doing what we're doing.
Yes.
You asked what is the level of activity that we are doing. In terms of finances, this program that we are now setting up and having put into implementation is in total, I think, about 246 million, if I'm correctly, shilling. It is covering 25 counties. But it's not so much the money, it's not so much the number of counties, it's of course what you try to do in the program. And what you try to do in the program, I think, is what we have just seen before, is that it is if you want really to prevent violent extremism, you have to address that through many different dimensions. So it brings together health issues, it brings together economic issues, it brings together religious beliefs, it brings together norms and behavior. It gives together the issue of youth and their future. It also connects to environmental problems. So it's a multitude of different aspects that could cause tension. And if you want to prevent it, you have to find a way of bringing all those different dimensions together, or at least have a few of where are the tensions really peaking at a certain moment, so that you can plan an intervention to prevent the outbreak of violence. And why are we doing this? We are quite a strong partner of Kenya in terms of trade and investment, but also in terms of development. And Kenya has signed up to the Sustainable Development Goals agenda, like the Netherlands has signed up to that agenda. And we would like to see that the progress that Kenya is already making, but it could accelerate even more, and especially in those areas and those regions and counties, they are lagging behind a little bit. So if we can invest there, and what is the basic conditions for development to take off? That is security, that is safety. If people feel comfortable in their environment, they are eager to make the next step to improve their livelihood. But if every time again there is a crisis or insecurity that is breaking down the achievements already made, it is going 2 steps up, but also 1 down or 2 down or even 3 down. And that latter part, the steps down, we would like to avoid. So that is why we do what we do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, participants, thank you for your participation. Online there is also an audience. The background of this radar show is in the beginning, in the previous project, we held similar activities, but the reach was to those who are physically there. And I said, in this age, you should also try to maximize your reach by also recording the interesting discussions you are having and allowing people to online just watch the discussions and also get familiar with those terms. So that's the background of this radar show. This is the first edition. It's still a test phase, but in the future, the idea is through our investments in the 25 counties, not only to reach the people who are coming to the events, but also those online. And already Coalition of Peace is having a program, radio programs, I think 12 radio stations or more? 12, yes, 12 radio stations. So those reach the people who still listen to radio. But there is a younger generation, which is our main target group, of course, and they are more familiar with YouTube than radio. So that's the background of this radar show. Then I turn to the Deputy Governor of Kilifi. Kilifi is a beautiful county. Many people come for holiday here, many people come for business, many people come also to study at Pwani University. Can you tell us why this project is also relevant for Kilifi County?
Thank you so very much for this opportunity. I'll say this program is very important. First, I want to thank the ambassador through the Dutch community just to bring this on board. Thank you for this show, the radar show. We say in Kilifi we have we want our youth or our people to be informed, because if I take you back some few years ago, we do not want a repeat of what happened in Garissa. That is why it was a wake-up call for all of us. We need to complement one another. That's why we have the national government here, the county government, and even support from outside, so that we make sure within Kilifi County we work with the youth, we work with the different groups. We're just enlightened about the pillars, so that in all mannerisms, ideology, economically, socially, and all aspects, that we ensure this rich information gets down, trickles down to our youth, so that together we can fight this elephant, and we are talking of peace and security. I love the way that we've brought in the county government and the national government through the county commissioner, so that in any way we are informed. I like even how through focus, now that the world is going digital, we can get this information before something erupts. We already know, and that is exactly what county governments need. And as Kilifi County government, you're saying we shall complement, we shall partner to ensure we have peace and security within the province.
Thank you, Deputy Governor.
So thank you, Vice Chancellor, for attending our show. As Deputy Governor mentioned, we don't want a repeat of Garissa University. What are the strategies and measures you put in place in this university to avert what happened in Garissa University?
Thank you very much for the question, and just to take this opportunity to also thank the Netherlands government through His Excellency the ambassador here, and also the county government of Kilifi, the national government of Kenya, for basically bringing Pwani University on board. As you know, Pwani University is neighboring Tana River district and Namu district to the north, and therefore with a concentration of over 9,500 students, we feel that we are in a place that can easily be targeted, and therefore we wish to partner with like-minded organizations to be able to bring about a reduction in the radicalization of extreme violence, because it is through these vulnerable groups of students that these extremists may come in to be able to plant bad seeds in these students. So as a university, we are basically partnering with like-minded individuals to create awareness and to be able to involve our researchers, and we have one of them here, Professor Mochimako. We have also Professor Halimu Shauri, who basically carry out documentaries and also teachings and lectures and group discussions with the students to ensure that they are well placed and knowledgeable in this area. We also take a lot of interest in doing research that will lead us to understand more what exactly happens in these kind of security problems, so that we can avert that process before it even happens. So we are doing all that is involved, whether it is socially, whether it is religiously, whether it is academic, to make sure that we do not have a repeat of what happened in Paris. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So prevention is the key word, and that brings us to our next guest, Mr. Jenga Miri. You are the head of prevention. Can you tell us about the importance of prevention and also how the national counterterrorism works with county governments to ensure the security of all?
Thank you very much. Yeah, indeed it is. Prevention is like everything. Actually, we should go to counter terrorism. That's the hard approach. Only, in fact, it will just act as proof that we have failed in preventing. It's actually not a very good thing. It's not positive, because when an attack has happened, and that's the ultimate in the whole process of radicalization recruitment, is about attacks, killing people, and destroying property. It is not helpful. Nobody can recover that. A life lost, property lost, you can't recover. And that's why the government embarked very heavily on prevention. And we have invested heavily, and we have called upon our partners, like exactly what we are doing now with the Dutch government, to support us in prevention, a lot of prevention work. And is also a positive engagement, like what we are doing today, right now. We are actually doing prevention, but without any harm. Everybody is participating in an environment that is very friendly, that's very encouraging, that's very inclusive. We really look for a lot of inclusivity, and that's what we are doing. When it comes to county governments, we recognize under the Schedule 4 of the Constitution that there are those functions that are devolved, and a lot of interventions that are required under prevention are actually not securitized. They would be economic, they could be social, cultural issues, and environmental issues, trade issues, commerce issues, and a lot of these, and the ambit of the county governments. And therefore, if you leave the county governments alone, you can't succeed. In fact, you'll go nowhere. And that's why deliberately, even in the governance structure at the county level, we ensure that the governor is actually co-chair with the county commissioner, who is representing the national government, so that national government and county government can work together. Indeed, we talk about whole of government, and therefore anybody that is government, including county government, is part of that process, has every right. And in fact, we go even beyond government, and we also talk about whole of society, so that the society themselves, through creating of awareness, mobilizing them. Like now we are mobilizing the university fraternity. They become part of this war. Then you can imagine that the enemy will have a very hard time. So this is it, and we are very, very proud. We have seen great success. There is less pain now in preventing terrorism because of this kind of engagements, and also to make everybody aware of what government is doing and the challenge that the government is facing, and inviting them to offer solutions. And then we implement the solutions together. Thank you.
Thank you. My follow-up question is to Bon Sisi. Indeed, whole of society, whole of government approach has been mentioned. Prevention is key, because if it happens, then you're already late. Can you tell us more about the importance of involving grassroots level leaders and community members?
Yeah, thank you so much. In fact, when we were reviewing our last county action plan for countering violent extremism, we discussed why we never achieved much. In our discussion, we learned so many things. That is why we came up with 7 pillars. And in the 7 pillars, we found that it is cutting across everybody. And previously, we were only using multi-agency approach. During our discussion, we learned that dealing with agencies only is not a solution. That is where, when we coined multi-stakeholder approach, we need all the stakeholders for us to work together. And then also in the previous one, the involvement of the county was also very low. And then this current plan now, which we are using, is owned 100% by county and the national government. And we are working together. You cannot even separate. You cannot even know the difference. Because our major person is to get information from the grassroots. And we have learned the safest way to provide security and counter all this violent extremism is through the stakeholders. That is the grassroots level. When you have contacts with the grassroots level, then you will not have any challenges. And then we also, there are so many other factors which accelerate these people to join this violent extremism. That is why we came up with the economic pillar. Because we were only concentrating on the enforcement pillar. But now we came up, we brought everybody on board, the politicians to come in. How can we empower our youth economically to come in? And then also, we have to bring in the new government models now. For example, we have a better bottom-up economic transformation agenda. We have also brought that one in through, for example, a affordable housing program. How can we bring our youth inside? Yeah. So that one, my brother, there is no discussion. Multi-stakeholder approach, using the community, the lowest level, with this focus now. You have seen the person who is presenting is my officer. And we have an officer also for the county in that team. We have invited the director from the county, who is part and parcel of this focus. We really want to spend a lot of time and energy on focus because we learned what is not measured will never be done. So we want to take advantage of this tool to get information, data, which we can act on within a very short time, and will be very free and secure.
Thank you.
Thank you. My final panelist. Terrorism is evolving and highly dynamic in Kenya and the region and globally. Professor, you've done a lot of this empirical research. What are the new signposts you are seeing in Kenya and the region which push our young people to radicalization?
Thank you very much. It's true, as you say, that terrorism has not remained static. It keeps on evolving, and there is always need for interventions to respond to the different ways in which terrorism evolves. And you cannot do this if you're not alert, if you do not improve in your knowledge and skills. So I think what happens in universities is that you must pick up the challenge to find out what are these new trends and what kind of responses are expected to be provided. I think I remember that when this became a problem maybe 15 years ago, it was through people in the university that started to really do a lot of research in this, and the outcome was the national strategy and the county action plans. All these were in response to what is happening in our society and how do universities and scholars in universities respond to. So perhaps more additional research is required to be able to identify what are these new areas where this radicalization and extremism continues. I'm actually delighted to say that what RADA is doing is actually one of the ways in which an effective response can be undertaken. Because you know, once extremists realize that physical interaction with the recruits, they find different ways. And virtual recruitments, online recruitments also in these areas where you can find out how does it happen, what kind of measures are we supposed to deploy, but that can actually
Developed in such a way that either with support from a donor it can be extended to the other 22, or, and that would even be better, that the National Counter-Terrorism Center would be able to do these programs themselves. Because in the end, that is what we are aiming for. Develop the methodologies and the techniques, making them available. Once they are used, they can also be incorporated into the regular structure of government entities and the NCTC and local organizations. So it may not be necessary for us as a donor or any other donor to move in for the last 22, but we will keep an open eye on that.
Thank you. And the final question, maybe targeting government. I'm Neville from JKUAT, Kenya. How will you ensure prevention of terrorism around the institutions?
Thank you. I think that's a brilliant question. And let me say that first, we appreciate that he's concerned about, and he's also very much aware about it is important to handle the institutions. We understand that these institutions, of course, carry heavy burden of the young people who are also targeted by the violent extremist organizations. And what we have done is that we have, as a National Counterterrorism Center, developed a university program engagement. So even outside this NIPI 8 county support, we are also using other resources to reach out as many of our institutions of higher learning as possible. So I believe that in due course, we would be able to cover almost all the institutions of higher learning. So this is an ongoing process. It's very wide, and we are keen to have all of them covered so that you don't leave any ground that is untouched. Of course, because any space that you leave, the violent extremist organizations will hit that one. Yeah.
Thank you. I know we've taken much of your time, and we want to thank you for sparing your precious time to join our team. Maybe we want to closing remarks in a second, Commissioner. In a second.
Thank you so much, especially all the people who participated in making sure that this radar show is active and working. So we will support at all costs because we are going total security will involve all of us as stakeholders. And when we have total security, especially Kilifi County is a county which is depending on the tourism. Any small insecurity will lose a lot. So please, let's partner together to make sure that we have total security in Kilifi.
Thank you. Commissioner Njega.
Thank you very much. I think mine is to encourage all of us to be part of this war. If we all become part of this war, the enemy will have no space, absolutely.
VC.
Thank you very much. I think I want to say that if we work together as a team for a common good, then we shall not have any problems going forward. So we wish that all the stakeholders, all our people of like-minded minds will come together to work together so that we can stop this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ambassador.
Yeah, I would like to say that let us shrink the opportunities for radicalization into violent extremism to zero.
Thank you. Welcome, Chad.
I'm so delighted that for Radar Show, because you're involving the grassroots people. So we are here to win it because we have the grassroots, we have the students in the university, and the way the enemy, let me use the enemy likes targeting them. I love the way we have diverted and used